Hello, I'm coming to you today with 2 tips for improving your capacity to say yes to support. So, number 1, let's check in with what our stories are around receiving support. So, if someone offers and your tendency is to say, "No, thanks, I'm fine," what is the underlying beliefs around that? Is it that you're a burden on people if you say yes to support? Is it that you're a shit mum? Is it that you're not a very competent human being? Is it that you should be able to be fine on your own? Everyone's stories are often different, so just take a couple of minutes or moments just to check in with yourself. You might like to write down what comes up. Make it a little reflection exercise. Number 2, imagine yourself, there are 2 different options here. So on one side, there's the option that you've been doing of saying no thank you to support or struggling to reach out and ask for it. So in that scenario, we have whatever you've currently been having. So we're having maybe feeling really alone, finding it really challenging to do life, particularly thinking about having a baby. You might have your partner there for support, but having a baby is a really challenging experience often. Being a new parent, there's so much shifting and changing. Your whole identity is changing. And to be able to have different supports there to help you through that process makes a major difference. So if you carry on your old way of saying, "No thanks, I'm fine on my own," not receiving any support, you might end up feeling quite overwhelmed, a little bit lonely, especially if your partner goes back to work. You'll be having to be completely self-sufficient. So all the washing, all the cooking, all the baby care, trying to have a shower, maybe even a poo, all of that is going to be fully on your and your partner's shoulders. On the other side, we have what happens if there's a little softening into receiving support. So let's say someone offers, "Let me know what I can do to support you when you have your new baby." And you go, "Wow, okay, I've got some food in the freezer, but we're probably going to need to eat and we don't have enough food for the next year in our freezer. How about I say, 'Hey, I know that you're really good at making chicken curry. Do you reckon you could make up a big batch and we can pop it in the freezer?'" That's one set of meals or one meal that you will then have that saves you the responsibility of cooking while you're trying to be a new parent. That's one meal. That might be all that you can manage. If you can manage that while you're pregnant, that's an excellent practice. As you go on, there'll be more opportunities to practice asking for support. So it may be that your friend comes over and rather than standing up and you being the one to cook a cup of tea or put a cup of tea on, you could say, "Hey, do you mind making a cup of tea? Like, I'd really love a cuppa." And then you can allow yourself to receive that that person has made you a cup of tea. It may extend into even bigger things than this. It may extend to you feeling willing and open to receiving a meal train. My suggestion with that is to ask a trusted friend to organise it for you and set it up. There's another practice for you. So we can compare the 2 images and you can have alone and unsupported and struggling, finding it really challenging in your transition as a new parent, or we can have physical support, like maybe body work, a friend could give you a massage. You could have practical support with maybe doing a load of washing when they come for a visit or dropping off a meal to you. We could have emotional support of your friend coming and sitting with you, a trusted friend who brings the right energy when you're trying to breastfeed, for example, or just to come and sit with you and hear how new parenthood is for you. There are so many ways that people can support, and if you can allow yourself to receive that support, your experience is going to be entirely different. So there's a little challenge for you, 2 challenges. Do your reflections on what your stories are underlying your challenge to receive support, and imagine those 2 scenarios side by side, one where you do the usual thing and one where you're open to receiving even just a little bit of support offered by somebody else. I'd love to hear how you go with these reflections. And if you have any experiences of how this changes what your experience is like. All the best.